What is the statement of defense? Today we're going through this important document in the lawsuit so that you can have a better understanding. I'm Gerry, the principal lawyer with Gerry Law. I help injured people get the compensation they deserve. I'm talking about the statement of defense so that you can understand what this document is, and so the process of litigation seems a bit more clear and less daunting. A statement of defense is an important document in an Ontario lawsuit. It serves as the defendant's formal response to the plaintiff's statement of claim. And if you don't know what the statement of claim is, I have another video about it that will be linked below. So it's important that you understand first what the statement of claim is, and the defense is a key part of the litigation process, and it plays an essential role in outlining the defendant's version of events. Also outlines the defendant's disputes and their legal arguments. So first of all, the structure of the statement of defense. The statement of defense starts with a detailed response to the plaintiff's allegations in the statement of claim, and it typically includes, first of all, the admissions that the defendant is admitting to, so a list of the paragraphs and statements that the defendant agrees with. Secondly, the denials, so this is a list of the paragraphs in the statement of claim that the defendant denies or disagrees with, and is often supported by reasons or an alternate explanation that supports the defendant's perspective on things. The third element is no knowledge, so the defendant will also provide in the statement of defense a list of statements or allegations, paragraph numbers from the statement of claim about which the defendant claims to have insufficient knowledge to either admit or deny. This structure ensures that the defendant's position is clearly laid out, and it gives a roadmap for the disputes that will be needed to resolve the issues in the lawsuit. So this is how we know what the dispute is between the parties, because if the defendant agrees with parts of the statement of claim, then we know there's really no dispute there. But if they deny things or have a different version, then that's where the dispute really lies. The statement of defense may also contain allegations against the plaintiff. So it often will have allegations related to the plaintiff. These allegations aim to either reduce or eliminate the defendant's liability. So some common examples of this are contributory negligence. So there may be a paragraph alleging that the plaintiff contributed to their own injuries. An example of this would being distracted while walking, or failing to wear appropriate safety gear like a helmet or a seatbelt, or using inappropriate footwear in a slip and fall case, sometimes wearing high heels or shoes that are hard to walk in or that don't have good grip. They would allege that this was a contributing factor to the injury, so the defendant shouldn't be responsible for all of the damages that were caused. The statement of defense may also have an allegation of a failure to mitigate losses. So this is claiming that the plaintiff failed to take reasonable steps to minimize their damages, such as not following recommended medical treatments or rehabilitation plans. These allegations allow the defendant to argue that the plaintiff bears some or all of the responsibility for their losses. There may also be included a counterclaim or a third-party claim. So the statement of defense would outline these types of claims if they're being brought. So the counterclaim is a claim brought by the defendant against the plaintiff, alleging that the plaintiff caused harm or losses to the defendant. So for example, in a car accident case, the defendant might claim that the plaintiff was the one who was at fault for the collision and may in fact countersue the plaintiff for damages. The third-party claim is a claim that the defendant can bring to add in another party to the lawsuit if they believe that that party shares responsibility for the plaintiff's damages. So for example, in a slip and fall case, a defendant might bring in been a maintenance company that was responsible for cleaning the premises where the plaintiff was injured, or who was a snow removal company that was supposed to be mitigating these types of conditions. Both counterclaims and third-party claims must also be defended by the parties that they are targeting, and that further expands the scope of the case because it may bring in another party into the lawsuit. The purpose of the statement of defense, so it does have various purposes, and I'm going to go through those. So the first and main purpose is to clarify disputes. So it identifies the points of agreement and disagreement between the parties so it can narrow the issues that need to be resolved by the court. So as I said, if the defendant admits some of these statements that the plaintiff is making, then that might not be contentious and they might be able to agree on those points, which would reduce what has to be decided by the court. The second purpose is to present the defendant's position. So the statement of defense, it gives defendant the opportunity to give their version of the incident and set out their version of the facts and the arguments that support those facts. The third purpose is to raise additional claims. So through counterclaims or third-party claims, the defendant can expand the case to include other parties or address losses that they believe were caused by the plaintiff. In terms of the pleadings as a whole, so this term, the pleadings, it means the statement of defense, the statement of claim, the counterclaims, and the third-party claims. These documents establish the foundation of the lawsuit and they frame the issues to be litigated. So these are the starting documents and usually the first thing that a judge will see when assessing the case. So once pleadings are exchanged, the case moves forward to the discovery process where each side gathers evidence to support their claims and defenses. So overall, the statement of defense is not just a rebuttal to the plaintiff's allegations, but it's also a strategic tool for the defendant to present their side of the story, to dispute liability, and potentially shift some of the blame to the plaintiff or to third parties. It does play a vital role in shaping the direction and scope of the litigation. If you have any other questions about this, I can be reached at the contact information below and I would be happy to discuss your lawsuit.